SD has been the group of death, as everyone has been saying it, and I think this game is going to be a super important one. It's Schalke taking on Karmine Corp. If Karmine Corp can actually win this, they just secure themselves first at the end of this round robin. But if Schalke win, it really mixes things up. We'll have two teams tied at the bottom, we'll have two teams tied at the top. Jamada, the stakes are high right now for Schalke. If they can find a win here, they have had amazing start to the first week of the European Masters.
Yeah, I will say that. It would be very disappointing, I think, for them, given their performances to finish the week 1 and 2. KC, though, if they were to go 3-0, I think it would be totally deserved. They have kind of just come through and rolled over Best, rolled over XL, and it would kind of be business for usual, as usual, if they were to do the same today. Karmine Corp, honestly, just through their solo lanes and even through xMatty on that Varus as well, which is this best game. Very impressive to see how easy it is for them to just play through people kind of on a whim.
Yeah, xMatty has been, a standout player in the regional leagues for a while. Obviously, was on Fnatic Rising for a very long time with Magic Felix, and now switching over to Karmine Corp, and a team who, it's fair to say are one of the most hyped up teams, and a lot of people are predicting to win the European Masters.
Yeah,
and it's a very stacked roster. They've had an incredible start to their first 2 games. I think it's fair to say that they were slightly challenged by their XL game. XL, they did lose that game ultimately, but they did have moments where XL challenged them, especially in the earlier stages.
Yeah, in the early team fights, XL, they did their best to hold through, but eventually Karmine Corp, with the composition they had as well, I think played into it a bit. Started to roll over in the mid game, and I think the gold lead was just a little bit too intense for XL to handle. And I'm curious to see what sort of versions of both these teams you see today, and who is going to actually receive the resources here, right? For Schalke, is it going to be Nuclearint? Is it going to be Yoppa? Are we actually going to see Kynetic actually played through for once? There was that very kind of disastrous start for Kynetic and Tolerant in their best game where they ended up getting solo killed 2v2. Will that make them play away from xMatty and Targamas? We'll have to see. We're here though into picks and bans.
Yeah, the first bans are going to be the Twisted Fate and the Rise, so they are heavily focusing towards that mid lane, and Saken there. On the side of KC, they are going to ban away the Tristana and the Gnar, and the final ban by Schalke is the Jinx. Schalke were ready for this pick and ban. They are firing them out.
Yeah, when you see teams draft as quick as this, you know that their bans are almost always set in stone. They don't want to give KC any time to think. And already 15 seconds left on this final ban. All of the S tier junglers available. Orianna, I think, is also potentially a key pick here for both of these teams. I think it holds a lot of strength, especially in this meta. I think everybody knows it at this point. With Orianna, Seraphine also is available at this point in the game. So Seraphine, the junglers, Orianna, it's going to be the Hecarim first pick. Not too surprised. I feel like teams, especially at EU Masters, whenever this champion is up, they just pick it.
Well, there's going to be the Varus pickup for Karmine Corp. Pick we saw Deadly just pilot to complete dominance earlier in that last game, and Adam's going to get his hands on the Renekton as his blind pick for the top laner. So the question to me is, what is Schalke going to look to pick up here? Are they going to look for just a solid bot lane? Do they want to get something that can deal with the Renekton right now, or it's kind of really up to Schalke what they want to go for? But I feel like a solid bot lane is not a terrible pick here.
No, I mean, for Schalke, if they really want to hide their cards, they can just pick their top laner and AD carry. They don't have to do much more. And it seems like they're going to take the handshake of the Aatrox into the Renekton, the age-old matchup now since the Aatrox rework all those years ago. And I mean, for AD carry, the Jinx is gone, the Tristana is gone. You start looking at things like the Xayah that can, be bullied out by Varus, but still survive enough and scale through into the mid game if they really feel like it. But they are actually hovering the Alistar, and they're going to lock it in. So they're going to forego their AD carry pick for now in favor of making KC effectively pick between having a positive support matchup and having that jungle matchup. I think you always take the Udyr though for Cinkrof.
I think that's a very scary front line that Schalke have now drafted. They need to add some backline to it though. That's the problem they've got at the moment. We have seen Yoppa play the Aatrox domestically, a fair amount actually, so I think it was 5 or 6 times he played that. So champion, but he has actually piloted a fair amount during the regular split over in the Prime League. But as we're heading into ban phase 2, the Akali going to get banned away. We've seen a massive resurgence in Akali back as we've moved on to 11-7 for the European Masters due to the lane changes and just the kind of number changes on the champion. So understandable ban there. Don't really want to give Nuclearint it because it kind of just adds to, we're saying they need damage. Kali's going to give you that damage. So pretty solid ban here. Now Schalke probably looking just to ban away some of these support pickups. I mean, with the Seraphine, it's technically a flexible support / mid pickup. So understandable ban from them as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, you've got the Renekton, you've got the Udyr, you pick out the Seraphine, all of a sudden these frontliners get all the more beefier. And for ADC Corp, they're going to remove away the Zoe. So obviously don't want Nuclearint on that one with all of the dive and the poke that could sort of enable the dive. It would be pretty overbearing. And I think now you probably just ban out, you know, one of those supports. You could look at something like a Thresh if you want to just remove it away from Targamas. It would give so much safety to the Varus as well, and it's obviously a pretty strong matchup into the Alistar in lane. We'll see what the choice is though for S04. It's going to be the Silas. I mean, that definitely also makes a whole bunch of sense.
Yeah, actually, now I think about it, it does. I want to get your thought on maybe something like a Tahm Kench for KC. Do you think that would be effective here? Because we saw XL use it really well to keep Deadly alive. It could be a good pickup. They are just going to blind pick the Orianna right now, though. I think that's a perfectly understandable ban. You do not want Hecarim Aatrox with an Orianna behind them. Team fighting is nigh on impossible at that point, so a pretty solid pickup for them. And now it's over to Schalke. AD carries weren't touched in the ban phase, so they've got the Xayah, they've got the Kai'Sa, they've got so many tools available. I think the Kai'Sa suits what Schalke have drafted. They're going forwards. Kai'Sa can follow up that killer instinct, and now it's over to Nuclearint for his mid laner.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got counter pick. There isn't going to be a Silas counter. There isn't going to be a Kali or Zoe. Syndra is available, but it doesn't necessarily do the best with what S04 are running with this sort of forward moving composition. So what are the choices really for Nuclearint? You could go down the line of something like a LeBlanc if he wants to, but I think, yeah, you kind of have to default to the Syndra. You play for the lane, you try and get some of the early priority, and you give a little bit of freedom to Yoppa if he does have that mid lane priority. It means that Cinkrof on this video can't necessarily bear down on him at any opportunity, it feels like.
You can't tease me with a LeBlanc like that, mate. You can't say, oh, LeBlanc would work here. You know I love that jam.
I know.
Probably not the smartest pick, and I think the Syndra is pretty solid right now. We see mid laners typically in the early stages of the game, their job is to shove lane and help their jungler get crab. Gonna look for KC, as one thing they were kind of lacking was some kind of follow-up engage after the chains. So the Rakan for Targamas, champion who, you know, historically as a champion, he's played a lot. So good champion for him, and gives that extra engage to kind of follow up when you get the chains down. You've got the shockwave, you've got the Udyr, and obviously you've now got the quickness from Targamas. So a nice comp here put together by KC. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on the draft though, Jamada. What are you liking? What are you disliking right now?
I mean, I'm liking what both teams are running, right? They've both got a lot of go buttons, right? You've got the Chains of Corruption, you've got the ultimate from Rakan, the moving forward there, and obviously the follow-up of the Shockwave, the Renekton diving in. And then on the other side for Schalke, it's the same thing. You've got the Onslaught of Shadows, you've got the Alistar that can flash in Pulverize, the diving in Kai'Sa. So both of these teams, I think really it's about who makes the decision to go forward first and pick on one of these carry targets. And then from there, it's just going to be pure chaos in these mid-game team fights.
So let's talk laning phase then. What are we looking at towards the laning phases for these teams? I mean, Syndra, we kind of expect just to hard shove the lanes, but what are the other lanes looking like?
Yeah, I would imagine the Varus should be picking up a lot of priority in this Kai'Sa lane. We saw it just gone by. Deadly did so much work, just literally existing, pressing Q, pressing E on the wave, and occasionally on the Kai'Sa. There wasn't really much response. And like we said, Nuclearint should have priority in the mid lane. He will have to expend a little bit of mana to make it happen. But as long as you've got the priority, that's the important thing, so that Obsess can't just kind of get bullied by Cinkrof.
Well, we're on to the Rift for game number 2 of day 4 here at the European Masters. This is KC, Karmine Corp from the LFL, taking on Schalke from the Prime League Dark. Group D will be rounded up after this game, and we'll have a better idea of how things will be looking going into next week and into the second round of the round robin. Yeah. Karmine Corp have, honestly, they are, you know, they're the new when does Origin play, or the new Pookie style, all of the different kind of spam things we've had on Twitter over all the European Masters. KC, it is their time.
Honestly, I have to say, I'm a big fan of the French fans this time around, the CU Masters. They're just so vocal, so passionate about it.
As well.
Yes,
that's what I like about them.
That's the great thing.
I've seen a lot of French fans going into the tweets of other teams when they've beaten them, and they've been very positive. So big shout out to you, LFL fans. Honestly, you guys have been real ones.
Yes, I certainly agree. And looking towards the game now, yeah, both the junglers starting on the bottom side respectively, so they're going to be pathing up towards what can honestly be a pretty volatile matchup between the Aatrox and the Renekton. Now, the Aatrox can kind of work around the first couple of levels, sort of 1 through 3, 1 through 4 even, And then it starts to kind of just get punchy, right? And just both top laners kind of just throw swings at each other, and it becomes a bit of a drain tank matchup. So much disdain between the two. See, already trying to walk up to each other.
It's pretty chill though. At the moment, it is only level 1 though. You can see xMatty is getting ready to shove in this mid lane, this bot lane, sorry. And one of the things I want to talk about with Karmine Corp is they're kind of like, they've got this weird snowball effect where for the first 10 minutes they build up that snowball and then they slowly push it. And you can see at 10 minutes, they are 700 gold up. At 20 minutes, 10 minutes later, they're 3,600 gold up. They just pick up this snowball and then push it at 10 minutes and it just starts to spiral out of control. If you look at the 30 minutes as well, it's normally like 7k. It goes even higher.
It gets worse, guys, I promise.
They ramp up real hard. That snowball becomes a wrecking ball.
Yes.
And if your team's house is at the bottom of that hill, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, it gets scary very quickly. If you do fall behind against Karmine Corp, it seems the trend is you just lose. So let's not lose. Or fall behind in the early game here for Schalke. And they do have, you know, the top side lanes to do that. Between Syndra and Aatrox. So far, doing pretty handily in the lane. Interesting to see which of these two junglers actually gets their hands on this top lane skull. For now, Adam is the one with the first move, the priority in the top lane. And Udyr being Udyr has, of course, finished up that his full clear first. He's going to be in the river first, but Obsess isn't too far behind. See how this plays out.
Well, it looks like Cinkrof is actually going to look to potentially give this one up. There's a mid lane prior. Matty actually flashes away. Targamas slides back in. Tolerant answers out with his own flash. But AD carry flash for support flash.
Who got it?
Okay with that. And it is Obsess who picks up the crab as Cinkrof's just going to bolt through the mid lane. Nuclearint doesn't really have the mana or the health bar to be able to help contest this second crab. So Schalke pick up their one crab and it's just going to be one crab for each of these junglers.
Yeah, one crab apiece. Obsess is going to get his reset off first. Cinkrof, however, does have the option to just go back to his jungle right now and start clearing as Targamas. Okay, he looked like he was going to try and posture onto Kynetic there. But yeah, there is no flash now for Tolerant. So if KC, Cinkrof, Targamas want to try and make something happen towards that bottom side, they could potentially force it. Matty and Targamas, for the most part, have had the lane shoved in. So we could potentially see in the coming moments, first dragon start, Kynetic.
Does have flash and cleanse available. Matty's been ignited and Obsess is actually bolting over the Void Seeker, blocked out by Targamas, and Karmine Corp able to get their bot lane pretty healthily out of that one.
Yeah, kind of curious about Obsess's decision to kind of turn around. I feel Matty with no suns, especially Obsess actually has flash, which is not the common summoner spell. It's normally Ghost and Hecarim, but I suppose all the merrier. You can just flash behind and charge the Varus in with no summon spells available to him, but opts for the turnaround and kind of just a full clear again from Cinkrof. And you'd imagine after that Krug camp, he's going to respawn and walk straight back to the bottom side, where he could potentially look to start the dragon, especially as there's vision now on Obsess. It means Obsess likely going to just clear up towards his own remaining jungle camps. And you can see the missing pings already. They see he's on Raptors, they ping away the top side too. They know where Obsess is going to path to, so Cinkrof could capitalize on this off this reset.
So Cinkrof just finishing up his Krugs. Hecarim actually going in to the jungle just to try and spot out where Cinkrof is. There's a Kynetic. Going to cancel his reset here. They don't have that ignite yet on Tolerant, but they do just catch him out with a full CC. And Targamas is low. Kynetic still has flash. Not going to follow up underneath the tower. Quite happy burning Targamas' flash for free. Schalke's bot lane having a very, very good start to this game.
Yeah, not a terrible start. Even in CS, I think, is the key thing to note. Just simply because of how oppressive the Varus can be. And with the flash forced out of Targamas, despite that actually happening, Cinkrof's just come down here. He wants the dragon. He knows Obsess isn't going to be on this side of the map right now. Targamas can open up through mid. He can walk straight to the dragon if he so wishes. There are a couple of pings coming out onto the dragon, but it doesn't seem like Tolerant or Kynetic are going to make their way over right now. Very cheeky takedown, all things considered. But there's mid lane priority here for Karmine Corp through Saken, so clean pickup. No response here for Schalke Evolution. Infernal Dragon in pocket now for Karmine Corp.
Well, looks like they're actually bringing Saken and Cinkrof over to Kynetic. Remember, he has the flash, he has the cleanse. Tolerant's going to start up the trample as he's going to get clipped by the shockwave and pulled back into the waiting arms. But Cinkrof jumps in forwards, his first blood for Saken. Cinkrof is low, and here comes the pony. He can't connect the kill. Yoppa's teleported in. He's popped the World Ender, and Cinkrof will surely go down. No, the shield is the healing. Adam finds the kill. Cinkrof survives. Here's the Scuttle Wing by Nuclearint as he flashes over, unleashes power into the face of xMatty, but three members of Karmine Corp will run Nuclearint down. He has nowhere to go, no safety net to fall to, and Adam will lock him under tower and secure the kill.
Yeah, and it ends up being Karmine Corp favored. They start off the play, they win the play. Numbers first, and fortunately for Schalke, they just can't survive the onslaught. The health bar is in there for Kynetic, and Tolerant eats the shockwave. Nice protect off into the shockwave. Tolerant pulled in. It's a nice headbutt to actually place Cinkrof closer towards death, but xMatty actually eats up Kynetic, and Obsess, he has flash, he doesn't have Ghost, he can't run Cinkrof down. And Yoppa, despite teleporting with the World Ender available, he flashes, the sweet spot hits, but it just doesn't eat up the shield. Cinkrof survives, even pops the thumbs up on the way out. Flash forward from Nuclearint means that xMatty is just toast. Nothing you can really do about that one, but sacrificing himself 1-for-1. Grin eventually just gets run down by the Karmine Corp top laner.
Beautiful little team fight there for Karmine Corp, and that does leave them 1,100 gold up over Schalke. Schalke, though, not happy with that sequence of plays, and they are going to turn this into a Rift Herald. Kynetic, not even level 6 yet, so doesn't have the dash, and he used Flash and Cleanse in that previous fight. Means he could be on the receiving end of a little bit of love from the KC teammates, but not going to move over. Targamas is just playing Interrupt for the moment, and that will be the Rift Herald picked up by Schalke.
Yeah.
Kynetic's going to make his way towards his top lane to catch this wave and keep himself relevant in the old farm department.
Yeah, that's right. And Schalke, they showed 5 members up towards the top side. Yoppa, Rotator, he does give up the wave and a couple of plates. I'm not sure whether it was 2 or 1. Matty and Targamas were doing a lot of work down there. Chains of Corruption land, no summoners. Kynetic's probably
I mean,
dead.
that is just one dead Kynetic.
Yeah. Not much counterplay to that. Simple as. Real nice aim from xMatty. And another kill into the pocket of the French team. Herald is still available. We'll see where it gets dropped in the next coming minutes. xMatty going to pick up another plate here, and Obsess does have the Ulma available. They're posturing for it. Oh!
They're going to actually interrupt him with the trample auto. Targamas takes a couple of tower shots. Obsess has the ulti available. Not feeling it, though. Targamas still had his quickness, so they're just going to take the reset and walk away. But Kynetic getting caught out, not what they needed.
Definitely not. Especially after being the first ones to rotate over now. Yoppa, the recipient of a 2-man dive.
Yeah, he's going to try and sustain up as much as possible, but can't connect the sweet spots. Just locked down way too long, and does do a fair amount of damage to Adam. Adam has a wave crashing in, and this will be a couple of plates here in the bot lane. So Cinkrof doing his best to contest his own Krugs. Cinkrof not going to let him have him.
Yeah, and despite Schalke being the first ones to move up towards the Herald, pick up the Herald itself, honestly, the net end of the play is probably Karmine Corp are going to be ahead, even if Schalke drop the Herald and pick up, you know, even as many as 3 plates at this point. They'd have to take down a whole tower, I think, to make up for the gold that they may have just lost over the last 2 minutes or so. And this is not the position you want to be in against Karmine Corp. But Schalke, they're posturing for a flank here.
The headbutt, the pole of the fear. Saken flashes away to safety, has the ball rounded up, and the shockwave connects onto 2. Cinkrof looking to come back in with a bear stance and that Phoenix change.
Wow.
Tolerant has to pop himself his ultimate to keep himself alive.
Yeah, real nice from Saken there. Just shockwave to keep his jungler alive. Means you just can't be ran down by the Alistar or the pony. And a nice creative angle as well from S04. But just results in ultimate summoners traded across the board. Flash not available now for Saken, so if there is a skirmish in the next 5 minutes, he will have that one as Kynetic is just kind of being bullied at this point.
Just turned the lights on and saw the wolves all standing around him.
Now, this is going to take a while, so S04 do have the time to actually respond. Cinkrof, though, doesn't seem to care much. Obsess on the side, charging in.
Doesn't have the ulti available, but he's going to try and make his way forward. The chains by xMatty are up, so pretty hard for Schalke to re-engage off the back of that one. And Kynetic will survive today. Didn't have to pop the cleanse, and his flash is actually very close to coming back up. So the window to punish is getting smaller and smaller right now.
Yeah, and Karmine Corp, honestly, just playing the map pretty well. Yes, they lost Yoppa in that bottom lane dive. And Adam is pretty scary. He's 3-0. 93 CS at 12 minutes, or 11.5 minutes rather. Very strong. He's going to recall on quite a bit of gold. Actually, if we could get a toggle of gold, just to sort of get bearings of where everybody sits right now. 2.2k in the Crocodile's back pocket. That should be the Stride Breaker or the Gore Drinker, depending on what he wants picked up. Everywhere else, though, relatively even. Sort of 300, 400 gold between a couple of positions in favor of Karmine Corp. But top lane tower,
okay, they're not going to be able to cancel it in time. They do a fair amount of damage, but it's okay.
It's not really what you need out of a Herald, especially considering what you gave up for it. As, oh, Nuclearint forced to flash away from the shockwave.
Thought for a minute there Adam might go in,
so too. I held my silence.
We held our breath collectively there for a moment, Jamada.
Yeah, and Adam being this strong, you know, in that mindset, he could have thought about it. Has the flash available and the Dominus too, so it's not like he would have been at crazy threat of dying. So much healing available, as even starting to eat up some of the jungle camps. This is no longer Schalke's jungle. Cinkrof gonna try and open up the jungle CS lead here as S04, they're making their way over. Red buff.
Tolerant's found them, gets himself a 2-man headbutt pole. There's no real follow-up right now. As the charge comes over the wall, Yoppa is in the area. They get a scatter the week off onto Cinkrof, and Kynetic slides in as Yoppa just jumps over the wall. But all of the CC is just landing, and they eat him alive.
Yeah, a little overzealous there from Yoppa. I feel like the tools were blown a little bit early on Schalke's side. Weren't really going to be able to follow up with that.
Kynetic going to get locked down by Adam. Has to flash and cleanse to safety as Targamas takes a bit of poke from Nuclearint. The Dragon is picked up. And that is twice in a row now while Schalke have kind of fallen for the Cinkrof bait.
Yeah, Cinkrof is doing his job right now. He's being irritating. He's being up in the faces of Schalke. And if he gets caught out, he's just not dying. Plain and simple. Yet to die in this game. And Matty going to pick up this tower for himself. First tower of the game. Plate still there. So it's going to be a big chunk of gold. 610 in your screen. Starts off with this invade. Cinkrof and Adam picking up the red buff. Tolerant gets the combo down, but there's just no immediate follow-up. See, the Onslaught of Shadows only really hits onto Cinkrof. Scatter the Weak is nice, but Cinkrof still has flash, and he does just that, and Yoppa doesn't find enough damage again through the shield of Turtle Stance, and Yoppa just dies. Cinkrof even throws up the thumbs up again. Yoppa is not a fan of this animal man. It's annoying guy in pajamas.
0 for Yoppa.
Yeah, I wonder if all three of Cinkrof's assists have actually been to do with Yoppa. It would be pretty hilarious.
I'm pretty sure Yoppa's not been solo killed by Adam, so I'm Cinkrof probably has found all his kill participation from those kills.
Well, that's unfortunate for Yoppa. I think now moving forward, this is kind of the part of the game where KC starts to take a bit of a stranglehold on it. As you can see already up in the faces, they're trying to steal away the jungle camps. They're making sure S04 are starved out of their own jungle. They're going to start taking control around this mid lane. You can already see Mai, Saken pushed up far and high in it. There's no threat of them really being, you know, killed when you've got the Shockwave, the Chains of Corruption available to sort of CC up some members. There is this really long flank angle potentially, but it's just too long. The tower drops because of it. Adam's also doing some work in the top side, so Karmine Corp, they're just going to strip away all of these our towers one at a time. And this is the part where it starts to get scary for Schalke, because they can't really move forward as freely as they would perhaps like. And we brought up the stats. We'll have to hold that though, as Obsess.
I mean, Obsess went for the play, and Maddie shuts him down immediately.
Yeah,
such a speedy chain and flash from xMatty.
Yeah, here's the thing: you get hit by the chain, even if you're in the Olma, you're still gonna come out the other end CC'd. So Adam winning out on this trade, kind of. I mean, the current state of the game is really bounces back to that thing we talked about at the beginning from the graphic that popped up. We're now beyond that 10-minute mark, and the gold lead is now starting to snowball out of control. It was around that 10-minute mark where KC just went, all right, we're going to start making picks. We're going to start fighting. And from there, it's just got harder and harder. A 7,000 gold lead has been picked up by Karmine Corp right now. They're,
I mean, there you go. Once again, you can see, typically, they are up 700.
Yeah, they're trying to up the average. Hiprain, what can I say?
By a lot.
By a fair amount. They're people of numbers, quite clearly. So, I guess the question now bears, what do Schalke do to come back into this game? I think they have to just try and look for picks on the side. There is a teleport available from Saken and from Adam, but other than that, there's no real global ability, right? There's no, Kai'Sa flying in from Karmine Corp. There's no Twisted Fate. There's nothing like that available. So if they can pick up somebody that's catching waves on the side lane for free and not give up too much, then that can be a way to at least funnel some gold back into their pockets. Karmine Corp, they're doing that to Schalke, though.
I was about to say, that is Nuclearint forced to use the ulti and the flash. He dodges away on the shockwave by Saken as Yoppa's coming in and Adam's making his way forward. Cinkrof finally will lose his life as Yoppa locked down by Saken and Adam, and they secure themselves a 2-for-1 trade as Adam with the dominance is really feeling it. He's got 3 levels over Kynetic. Kynetic can do nothing but run away. The pony coming to try and bail them out, but here comes Targamas as well. Quickness available.
Oh.
A slice forwards. Is Targamas not going to go for the grand entrance?
Yeah, definitely not going to do that. I think Karmine Corp happy with what they retrieved from that play, and so much control on the bottom side. There's barely any vision. 2 wards, that's pretty much it in the bottom side jungle for Schalke. And it means they're pretty much going to have to walk into Fog Obsess. Meets a Crocodile, a very angry one at that. And I think if you're Schalke, you just play into the top side here. I think you kind of have to give up this Ocean Dragon. I feel like if you try and take a fight here, the game's already in a dire state. If you take a fight in this state, you're kind of just handing over. And you can see the pings coming down. Targeting that top tower. Kynetic potentially in trouble. Adam trying to run it.
Oh, he tried to hold the wall! Caught out by all of the CC. Tolerant comes in, gets himself a 2-man knockoff as Yoppa uses the change of corruption. The charge comes in from Obsess, and that's Targamas going down. Kynetic is actually still alive. Nuclearint gets
nice.
The unleashed power. Matty goes golden. Matty doesn't have flash, and he is shut down as the shockwave only clips onto Yoppa. They get the stun onto Cinkrof, and Cinkrof trying to run away, but he is boxed back, and Adam secures the kill in the turnaround as Saken gets another one as well. And Schalke, it's just gone from good to bad in a snap of the fingers. A double kill for Saken, and 3 members of Schalke fall.
It's Karmine Corp going too aggressive at first. They don't have the numbers readily available to them because multiple members are just coming off a reset. Simple as that. They get punished for it, and then Schalke, they feel the blood rushing. They see red. They say, okay, we can take down multiple members here, not just the first 2, and they go too far. Obsess basically dives underneath the tower, throws away his life, and with that, Karmine Corp have the green flag to just return fire, and it means not only are they going to pick up this dragon, they're just going to pick up 2 free kills, or 3 free kills on the back of it, or at the start of it rather. We'll get the replay here. Kynetic fails the killer instinct at first. Adam and Targamas, they just don't like this AD carry player, simple as. They want to take him down. You see the fail dash over the wall, but this is where it kind of goes a bit awry. There's not enough burst damage to take down Kynetic like that. The Onslaught Shadows comes in, CCs Targamas and Adam in, and Adam survives for a really long time. You can see the healing comes in by Sky the Weak onto Matty. The stopwatch, it does keep him alive for a while, and the shockwave onto Yoppa's nice, but Karmine Corp, they're in retreat, but this is just kind of where Yoppa, Obsess, they go a bit too far. There's no real reason to chase far forward. They just see red, and that's kind of the end of it. Saken picks up the double kill onto Nuclearint, and what could have been a pretty positive play just turns into a negative one because they overreach.
And this is kind of what Karmine Corp do so well. They're very clinical with their leads, and when they know they're strong, and that fight was them getting overreaching a little bit and still knowing that they had the strength to win that fight, so they commit the members, and charges coming in onto this tower. Yoppa actually gets caught out by the chains of corruption. The CC chain is just too much. Yoppa can't move. He has to flash the wall. A lot of healing coming out from that Aatrox as Saken threatening Schalke with the ball, won't let them step forward. Remember, Matty does have his flash just about to come off cooldown, so he's a little bit safer right now for himself.
Yeah, and just brief reminder that Gold Drinker is still an item that will heal you for 1k at button press occasionally. Have seen, of course, Stridebreaker be the option for a lot of bruisers like Aatrox and Renekton in recency, but a good argument to still pick it up when it can be relevant in times like this. You've got multiple members diving onto you, but Karmine Corp, drop the Herald, almost take down that mid-tier 2. Not quite enough, but realistically, the gold lead still a little bit under 8,000 gold. 3 minutes until this next dragon. I don't think Schalke have enough time realistically to accrue the gold items available. Items actually something we haven't touched on much, but I don't think we really had to given the gold lead.
I mean, the items are reflected by this gold lead. 2 items onto xMatty, 2 items onto Saken. Cinkrof very close to finishing up his next item as well. Adam, 2 items of the Gourd Drinker and the Sterix. And then you look over on the side of Schalke and it's just Mythics. bar Tolerant, who hasn't even finished a Mythic at 21 minutes. It is really, really dire for them right now. And when you got 2 minutes 30 until the soul comes up, and you're this far behind, you have to find these kind of picks. Saken's getting jumped onto, the teleports are getting used. He's finding everything for this Orianna, and Saken refuses to die. He doesn't have the shockwave as he's caught out by the Infernal Chains. Able to break it as Yoppa's getting slowed down, but he finally catches onto Saken as the shielding is there. Saken finds the outplay! Nuclearint gets a shutdown and return around though, as Tolerant now is the one getting turned onto by Karmine Corp as he is bolting towards the enemy tower. He has nowhere to go. The game over emote comes up, and Cinkrof is going to get bopped away. It's only buying time. Cinkrof is actually just going to let him fall to the tower and just stagger the bases.
I love Cinkrof's use of the thumbs up emote this game. It's such a basic emote. It's the basic emote, but he's used it well. And the Yoppa, you know, diving forward onto Saken, doesn't pick up the kill credit. Honestly, a bit of a gift that it ends up going into Nuclearint's pocket, I'd say anyway, given some of Yoppa's impact so far. But I mean, Karmine Corp, they're starting up the Baron, man. They had no breaks right now, and I mean, honestly, Schalke, they just can't do anything about it.
I don't think there's any answer to this unless Obsess can find some kind of a miracle flash steal
from the other side of the map.
He's got
has no business
tunneling. He's fine. He'll get there.
Yeah, he didn't want to deal with that one. So gold lead now extended just a little bit under 10,000 gold, and I mean, we said it. You don't want to be behind versus Karmine Corp. They know how to press their leads. They're clinical. The key factor. And for now, Yoppa, Tolerant, Obsess, they're going to try and press forward a bit. Nuclearint too. Schalke trying to hold control over the river, but I mean, the gold lead being as it is, I don't think it's going to matter a whole bunch unless they find a pick onto Adam.
Yeah, they do find a pick onto Adam, but xMatty turns it around the other side. Obsess has to use his R already, and Adam is still alive. He jumps up the nuclear. Adam finds the kill. Obsess flashes away. Kynetic burning down as the crocodile will hunt him. Saken takes out Tolerant. Cinkrof takes out Obsess, and Yoppa on the wrong side of the map being run down by the Udyr, by the CC as Targamas. Grand entrance is over the wall. That's the shockwave just to seal the deal. Saken wants a kill. It's a 4-for-none in favor of KC. They don't even need Soul to close this game. They've got Baron, and they have the gold lead.
Yeah, they certainly do have the gold lead. Adam says, you guys are locked in here with me, not the other way around. Turns it on Schalke. And honestly, I think it's been a bit of an impending result at this point. Karmine Corp, they're going to take down this mid lane inhibitor. They still got the Baron for a little while. Dragon actually isn't being taken right now. They're more focused on the tower. Cinkrof, he wants this card count. He's going to leave Targamas to this one tier 2. They will retreat to this dragon, though. I don't think Schalke are going to be able to get the numbers out there. There's a 4-level lead between Cinkrof and Obsess right now. So even if Obsess was there, I don't think the smite damage would win out in many scenarios. Adam steps quite far forward, in all fairness. So it makes sense for Schalke to go for this play. All of the CC lands by just the shielding, the CC that comes through from Targamas, and then the eventual turn is just too much damage for Nuclearint to deal with. And on the side, the Cinkrof rather, kind of just running down Obsess by himself. Adam pretty much just tanked everything up, and May did enough on the backline with the Chains of Corruption to just ensure no members dive forward onto him either.
I actually think those Chains won Adam his life there, or saved his life there. It stopped Obsess getting in with the fear, and I think the flash fear from Obsess could have maybe made sure for Adam had gone down, because then he wouldn't have been able to use all the survivability from the Renekton. So beautiful chains there from Matty, just to shut down the potential pick for Schalke. And this is what you were saying. If they want to get back into the game, they need to find picks. But I feel like the opportunity to get these picks is evaporating at a incredible pace.
Yeah, I feel like even by the time we were speaking about it, how they can get back into the game, Karmine Corp had already extended the gold lead by like 6,000 or 7,000 gold. So even then it was, I wouldn't say a foregone conclusion, but one of those things where at that point, it just has to be Karmine Corp griefing on the side lanes to allow themselves to be picked off at that bigger gold advantage. Now, spreading their numbers across 2 lanes, Adam crowling in that mid lane, super wave, and bottom lane tower not long for this world.
It's so hard to punish Matty as well now. He's finished up a Guardian Angel for himself.
Yeah.
Recognizing doesn't need any more damage, he just needs survivability. As Cinkrof with the turtle stance will tank a tower shot. The wave in the top side is pretty far away, and it actually looks like Matty's going to go deal with that one. So they haven't got the AD carry with them right now, the side of Karmine Corp, but Lead is still there, and Schalke are just held in place inside their bases. Adam takes 3 charitable tower shots.
It feels like death by 1,000 cuts. You can't really watch or do anything as you watch your base fall when you're this far behind. You kind of just have to throw the kitchen sink in and hope that somehow Karmine Corp's monitors just turn off with this kind of gold deficit they're in. Pressing onto the Nexus towers now. I mean, Schalke, they have to do something.
They really do, but that ball by Saken is scaring Schalke away from stepping up, and xMatty just taking pop shots at these towers. Here comes Targamas, jumping in with a quickness. The charm jumps onto the backline, and that is going to be the tower going down. Nobody has died yet as the shockwave does go a little bit wide, clipping onto one. Kynetic finds himself a shutdown. It's a 1-for-1 so far as Targamas gets the knock up onto Kynetic. Kynetic has to go for their quick heal onto the fountain as the second tower at the inhibitor. And the Nexus is going to get knocked down slowly but surely. Adam slides into the backline. Nuclearint looking to run away. Has to go for the heal. The Nexus has been exposed. It was clean, it was crisp, and it was controlled as KC get a 27-minute win over Schalke.
Yeah, and KC firmly asserting themselves as the sole first place team in this group. And I mean, from start to finish in the first round robin, I think they've looked like that. And now I think this makes things pretty spicy for Group D moving into next week. You've got 3 teams tied at the bottom of the table, 1 and 2, with Karmine Corp topping it 3-0. That Group D day is gonna be real exciting, Jake.
Yeah, I think Group D day is going to be amazing. You know, you got 3 teams now tied at the bottom of the standings, and then Karmine obviously 3-0 ahead of everyone else in their group. So it's going to make for a really exciting day. I can't remember what day it is off the top of my head. But it's gonna be an amazing day. I'm really excited to see how the other teams are gonna bounce back now, because we got these 3 teams who are all, you know, in for the running of making it out of the groups and into the playoffs. And I don't think any of the teams at the bottom of Group D have looked bad. You've got Schalke, you've got XL and Cream Real, who all have had pretty decent games and then pretty bad games. So we're finding out how that's going to go. But for now, it's time for us to throw to a break. And when we're back to break this game down and this series down a little bit more. See you in a moment.
I was down to the wire. You took me on by surprise. There was summer inside. Now I can think of a time that I wasn't sober. We're on a high life and the seasons don't mind. You keep me warm on a cold, long winter night. You always know where to go, where to spend our time together. Don't mind. Wherever we are, we'll be fine. You keep me warm on a cold,
Hello and welcome back to the European Masters. We're coming in fresh off a Karmine Corp win, and a win that really shakes things up over in Group D now off the back of that one. Looking very clean and controlled, and now leaving 3 teams tied at the bottom. And realistically, the odds of Karmine Corp not making it out of the groups is now really high. I don't think it's actually possible.
I think they have to win like one more game, and then from there, I think it's pretty much locked.
It works. Yeah. So because if 2 teams have an amazing week next week, then yeah, that is the way. But really, really good showing from them. It's kind of typical Karmine Corp. You know, just chill for the first couple of 10 minutes, and then from that point on, just take over the game and start that snowball.
Yeah, there were some early skirmishes like this one in the bottom lane, which effectively turned into a 5v5 brawl, albeit a little bit delayed. But once they started to take control of the map outside the laning phase, Schalke just couldn't keep up. They weren't able to find lethal when they were making diving plays like this. And fortunately, Yoppa, the victim of Cinkrof shenanigans multiple times in this game. And unfortunately, S04 just fall too far behind. Simple as that. Karmine Corp, it's what we said. You fall behind versus Karmine Corp, you're probably going to fall further behind after 15 minutes. And even after this, honestly, outright egregious overstep from Karmine Corp, S04 then go and overstep. Schalke overstep, they overreach, and they get punished for it. And they basically just fall back into the same pattern that they just spent the last 5 to 10 minutes in.
It's the classic Cinkrof bait. They go for Cinkrof, he lives, and they all die for it.
It's... Just don't chase the Udyr, man. It's like Rule 2 of League of Legends, maybe, after Singed. This one was probably... This was the nail in the coffin, realistically. They tried to go for Adam, and, well, Crocodile's too fed, Sterax, Score Drinker, innate healing. You can see there was a... Schalke had a gold lead at some point for, like, 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah, there's a very small little green lump on that gold.
Small smidgen. And then, as soon as KC took over the game in terms of gold, it's a mountain.
I mean, my oh my lord was actually at Adam's damage. He did 20k damage, just the most damage in the game. That was a fed Crocodile, you were correct. They tried to make some shoes, and the shoes bit back. Really, really good performance there from Karmine Corp, and kind of what we expected. But we can see the standings for Group D. Now, like I was saying, this means there are now 3 teams who are tied at the bottom. Karmine Corp 1 win off securing themselves at least a playoff spot, but it could be more. And honestly, from the performances they've had so far, realistically, we'll probably see them lead this group in first off the back of this. And they're kind of showing us why everyone's picked them up, why everyone's predicted them to be the favorite team here at the European Masters. The question for me is how these other teams are going to do, because all the other teams at the bottom of the barrel for Group D have beaten each other. But they've had good performances, we've had bad performances. Versus Karmine Corp, every one of the teams has had a good performance in a way where it's like, okay, there's been moments, but Karmine just too dominant for them. Like, that post 10-minute mark, it's just like, okay, don't worry, it doesn't matter. Karmine are going to take this.
Yeah, it really does seem like Karmine Corp, they're like almost a robot so far at EUM, right? They come in, they have okay-ish early games, first 10 minutes, they don't really do a crazy amount, but they don't fall behind, and that's the critical thing. And then as soon as the map starts to open up, they just understand where to put people, where to put resources, and where to also drop members as well off the sides of the map, and they just end up taking more than what you can ever take back in response, and that's been the case for all 3 games. And Group D now, it's really up in the air for that second spot. I think Karmine Corp kind of soft-locked, not necessarily mathematically impossible for them to not make it, but at 3-0 and 3 other teams being 1-2, it looks the most likely possibility.
It would have to be a very bad week, and then I think tiebreakers as well for Karmine Corp.
Yeah.
So they've had an amazing start to week 1. Question is can they keep that tempo up? But that is going to round up Group D for the first week of the European Masters. I think it's time we move on to a different group. I can speak, I promise. Coming up after the break, it's going to be Mouse versus UCAM. So we'll see you in 3 minutes.